welcome back to GTD. I'm Micah Farmer, joined as always by Keegan Miller, and it is time for our F1 episode of the week. If you're looking for NASCAR, Atlanta recap already out, Chicago preview coming later this week, but it's midweek, and you know what that means. It's F1 talk time, and we had a great Austrian GP once again. Austria has been extended on the calendar to 2041, and honestly, I can't complain because it's providing some really good racing every single year. And let's start with the big story. Lando Norris really bounced back. Absolutely needed to. You guys that watch the podcast know I am one of the most critical people on Lando Norris that there is. Not always a huge fan of the guy, but regardless, this is what he needed this week. Coming to his favorite track on the calendar probably in Austria has always gone really well here and absolutely delivered. Had a hungry Oscar Piastri behind him for pretty much the entire first stint, hunting him down towards the end. Really was unfazed by the pressure. Had one little off earlier in the race that Piastri got him, but Norris passed him right back down the straightaway. So just clinical from Lando this weekend. Topped every session he was in. This is what people think Lando Norris can be, and if he was this kind of driver consistently, I would not have nearly as much to critique him on.
Yeah, and I want to dive right into this question. Do you think if it had shaken up differently to where Piastri had a better pit exit and wasn't getting tangled up with some other cars, do you think it's another race winner? Do you think it's closer, or do you think Lando Norris still takes it? Because personally, I think Lando Norris still takes it. I think a little bit of that Piastri kind of really gaining on him at the end was just managing the gap. He didn't need to be pushing. He just let off a little bit and kind of manage tires a little better. Make sure you just don't overdrive anything. I think Norris wins hands down no matter what. I think they battle back and forth a little bit, but go ahead.
I wouldn't say the pit exit really affected anything. Lando had caught traffic at the end. That's what allowed Piastri to close in. And then once they were both in clear air-ish at the end, you saw him manage that 1.7 to 1.9 margin really over the last 7 or 8 laps. I think where this race could have changed, if Piastri, the moment where Norris went wide into the gravel out of the second to last turn, if Piastri passes Lando there into turn 1, because he easily could have gone for the move there, and then Lando gets him back into 3, I think Piastri then could get Lando back into 4 instead of Lando passing Piastri into that corner like happened on the lap. So I think if Piastri gets him there, then Oscar gets pit priority because he's in the lead in the first stint. I think that's really the moment where it could have changed. But other than that, Lando, I think, drove a great race and had him pretty much covered the entire time. So I still would say that Lando probably had overall in control, but if Piastri gets that move done, I guess you never know, because if he gets pit priority, you don't know what's going to happen with it that way. But I know some people are complaining that, why would McLaren leave him out there longer? They're trying to sabotage Oscar, make it not a close race. We're lucky McLaren's even letting these two fight at all with how clear their car is. So I think to get what we got is more than good enough. And McLaren even asked Oscar, like, do you want 1.5 seconds or do you want to stay out and have it be 4 seconds? And to be fair, it ended up being 6.5 seconds because they kind of scuffed the stop a little bit and wasn't exactly great. Oscar had the flat spot, but regardless, Oscar picked to stay out there longer, so I don't think you can really bash McLaren's strategy at all. Lando Norris had the weekend covered. Great weekend from Lando for sure.
Oh, yeah. And then we had to talk about, obviously, the big wreck that took out Antonelli, who caused the wreck, and also Max Verstappen. It was great. It was refreshing to see Max Verstappen. He showed his moments in the car, his anger. That's normal. That's going to happen no matter who gets wrecked, because you got taken out. But it was nice to see him kind of be like, we were in his seat at some point. We did exactly what he did. We're still doing what he's doing. So he'll learn from this. He'll shake it off. It's really good to see that, and all the memes that have kind of come out of that of like Verstappen and Antonelli versus like Verstappen and literally anybody else, and he's like about to cut their throat.
I think part of it too is if you remember when Max was a rookie, or actually you weren't watching this, but never mind. But Max is as a rookie in F1 was pretty crash happy, and he was fast, but he was crash happy, and he got ripped to shreds for it. There was not really any compassion of, he's learning, let the guy learn. You promoted him way too soon. He's way too young to be in F1. Look at him crashing all the time. And there are people saying, Antonelli's too young. You can't promote Antonelli. So I think Max kind of knowing what that's like for Kimi, being a little bit calmer on him too. Because it's just a rookie error. And like Max said, that's not a thing that someone does on purpose. That's an accident. Yeah. And for Max to come out and immediately, you could see him walking away from the car as Max was asking what happened. You could see Kimmy saying like, "Well, I kind of went like that," and Max like, it's okay, no hard feelings." So I think part of that is Max knowing like, hey, I've been in this position before in my career. I know what it's like to have kind of people questioning whether or not you're too young to even be doing this. So I like the reaction there from Max for sure. And Red Bull though. Is this car a back marker and Max Verstappen is just amazing? Because at this point, Liam Lawson finished basically last in every session, and Tsunoda had a rough race, but even without some of the mistakes, just wasn't quick. Ran like 13th a lot of the day. This car might just be bad.
I was on this car is bad before the Tsunoda move, and I was hoping that in the Tsunoda move, it would kind of solidify that claim. Because Tsunoda would he's not going to come out and say it. I'm sure he's thinking it and probably going to be like, the RB was quicker. Like, the RB was just
the RB
better.
almost got double points. Liam Lawson, who everyone was thinking was the worst driver of all time, finished 6th.
Yeah, so I think the RB's kind of a step ahead of the Red Bull right now. Obviously, Verstappen's Verstappen. But I've kind of been on the... Dude, I would actually kind of be down to see that. And... we're going to talk about this a little later. That may happen. It won't be the RB if he doesn't finish his contract with Red Bull. Won't be the RB, but we may see him not in the Red Bull, and then they'll probably promote Lawson back up, and then we'll really see how good this car is. But until then, we still have some more Austria to get to before we get to more conspiracy theories, if you will.
Yes,
and me and Michael love talking about.
How about Sauber, dude? From the green trash cans that I have down at the end of my driveway here in beautiful South Carolina to just green intercontinental ballistic missiles. These things are fast now, I guess. And Gabriel Bortoleto, with the best weekend of his F1 career by far, finished P8. Could have been P6 if Sauber would have actually let him through on Hulkenberg in the second stint. Don't really know what was going on there, but... great drive from Hulkenberg, too, to come back to P9. I'm not saying they should just tell Nico to get out of the way all the time, but they were on different strategies. Like, don't hold each other up there. And still, double points for Sauber. I thought they wouldn't score at all this year. I had them last and second to last in my championship. And this is where I got to kind of give you credit. You were like, no, Hulkenberg's going to cook in this car. Hulkenberg's going to cook. And he has. He's 10th in the driver standings right now, which is just incredible. And since the upgrades have been put on this car the last few weeks, it looks solid. It's right there in the midfield battle.
Yeah, I was more high on Hulkenberg than I was the car coming into the season. And that's just because what I saw him do in the Haas last year. And the Haas was going through some changes, we'll say, as a business. So the car wasn't, all there. But I really saw Hulkenberg kind of do some things in some races and kind of calls them strategies, even a few times. Not like actually get on the radio and call it, but kind of managing his race to where he was kind of dictating what strategy he was going to get. And I was like, he's got a little bit more fight in him. He does not want to be just – he was hated on a lot the last 2 years as, the Nico Hulkenberg he was, but he's got some more fight in him, and I just like seeing it. And I think the combination of this veteran kind of gritty driver and Bortoleto, who's just a fiery young guy who's going to be great one day – I think it works well. I think he's teaching him well. You've just seen Bortoleto kind of do this since the season started. So, I'm liking everything that the Green Machine's got to offer.
Yeah. And on the other end of the spectrum, oh my goodness, what are Williams doing? This is their second double DNF in the last few races. And I don't know if they've just forgotten how to build a car. I don't know Carlos Sainz's car literally just wouldn't move and then caught on fire. That was the extent of the race.
I thought he was doing the Sonny Hayes strat at first, but
dude,
he was not. 'Tis not the strat he was doing.
Don't even get me started on the parts of the F1. I haven't seen the full thing yet, but the scenes I have, don't even get me started on the F1 movie. That's not for today.
Yeah, you want to? I would love just to take if you could convince the FIA that they're watching a real race and just show them the movie. Did I say FIA? FIA. I would love to see the reaction and how they just go, oh
well,
my
first
gosh,
off, they'd be like,
happening?
why is there F2 car on track? And why is it good?
We don't. All right, we don't need to get into what you missed is me and Micah talking about this movie for 30 minutes before we pressed record for this episode because we went on a tangent, so we don't need to do that again. Are we done with Austria? Is that everything? Oh, Ferrari upgrades.
We got to talk about Franco Colapinto almost taking out Piastri while being lapped. What?
Who's Piastri?
I don't care
What Piastri?
if you say you didn't see him. You have mirrors. Use them.
Yeah.
The leader is right beside you, and you're just like, do 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 do, and almost just ran him into the wall. If that happens, Piastri loses 18 points in the championship, and I believe, that would make Lando Norris the current championship leader if if Piastri couldn't have avoided that.
It's called being locked in. He was locked in on the guy in front of him.
No, it's called being completely stupid and unaware of your surroundings.
That's another way to put locked in, I guess. But
you
more
can't
locked
be half
in.
locked in. You got to be all locked in. You got to be locked in on your mirrors too.
More locked in than usual this year. Ferrari. They brought some upgrades, and this is kind of similar to what we saw last season. Last season, they brought an upgrade package about midway through around the summer break last year, and they were really solid for the rest of the season. Are we going to see something
Leclerc
similar?
has 3 podiums in the last 4 races.
Yeah. So
Which,
do you
if
think?
you'd have told me that a couple weeks ago, I would have never believed that. But I hope the trajectory can continue. I'm a little worried about it because if we go back to racetracks where it's not super hot, I think the Mercedes is still faster. But at least for the stretch we're on right now, if you get a hot British GP, if the Red Bull isn't really there, Ferrari could maybe take home another podium. So we'll see. I'll file this one under cautiously optimistic for now.
Yeah, and we will find out more answers this weekend in Silverstone. Or it'll rain and we won't get any good data from any of the cars. But I will say if it does rain, I think that helps Ferrari's case a little bit just because of Hamilton over Kimi Antonelli. And Russell, I don't think you need to mention Leclerc at all just because you have Hamilton on your team. So you can kind of just chalk it up to this guy versus those 2 guys, and this guy's better. But Russell,
as much as I'm a Charles Leclerc fan too, I said this before we started recording, I have to admit, wet weather, not the guy's strong suit. Is not a great wet driver, has really struggled. And how much of that is Ferrari having one brain cell? I don't know. They haven't won a wet race in literally over 12 years. So not great from them. But as for predictions for Silverstone, I'm going to start us off here. I'm going to go Oscar Piastri in first. I think he really bounces back after Austria. He's going to be hungry and slightly angry Piastri, especially at a track that McLaren have been incredible at the last 2 seasons already. Not something the rest of the grid wants to see. I think Lando Norris comes home second. I think he'll be right with Oscar this weekend. I just think Oscar's going to be so motivated he gets this done. And then the question of the weekend. Which is more powerful? Lewis Hamilton British GP magic or Ferrari being bad? And I think Lewis Hamilton British GP magic is more powerful. There have been the last couple seasons like, oh, no chance he gets a podium. And then he won the race here a couple years ago. So give me Lewis Hamilton to bring home a podium here at the British GP.
I'm going to see your Lewis Hamilton British GP magic and raise it to it's going to rain. Lewis Hamilton magic. So combine the two. I don't see a world where he doesn't win. I don't care if you put him in...
you don't see a world where he doesn't win?
I really do. I don't care.
That's insane.
I don't... You can put him in the Apex GP Expensify F2 car, and he'd go out and win this race. I'm going to Hamilton.
Was it in 2008? He beat the field by like a minute here, so I guess...
So I'm going to Hamilton, and then I'm going Verstappen. Once again, I think it's going to rain. This if it doesn't rain, I may need to change some things. But
Keegan's doing the rain dance in Chicago this weekend, but for Silverstone.
I'm drawing my little rain turtle. But I'm banking on the fact it's going to rain. It's only like a 40% chance, so I'm putting a lot of eggs in that basket. But
he's like, it's Britain, it has to rain.
Yeah, but Verstappen in second. That's not a terrible pick, anyways. Like in the dry, Verstappen in second, and then Piastri. I mean, just the best car. Can Lando Norris keep doing what he's doing, or is Piastri going to be more consistent? I'm going Piastri's more consistent this year. Boom, Piastri in third.
Yep, should be a good British GP. I'm excited to see the midfield, too. I think Haas, they're always kind of weird. You never know if they're going to be last or like 8th between the two of them. Williams, if they can finally finish a race, I think they do have solid speed. We've seen the Sauber upgrades work well. Alpine's kind of washed. Fernando Alonso, you never know what you're going to see. And then the RBs have been really strong as of late. So should be a fun midfield battle as well. But as always, exciting weekend and week. Oh, no, Keegan's got more. What do we got?
I have a question for the viewers. Let us know in the comments who you think out of the rookies. All right, if it rains, which rookie shows up and kind of wows the field in the rain and has the best day?
You remember when it rained in Australia and Kimi Antonelli gained like 1 billion places?
Look, now we've had some more time, some more rookies. We have another rookie who wasn't in the Australian race because Doolan got canned. But let us know which rookie you think will do the best in the rain, in the great equalizer.
Isaac Hadjar wasn't in the Australia race either because he spun out on the formation lap.
Exactly. So maybe not going to be him this weekend if it rains. But let us know who you think is going to get it. As always, this has been F1. That's been Micah. I've been Keegan. Check out all of our other motorsports. We have NASCAR and NASCAR. Atlanta, incredible. Chicago, hopefully incredible. Also some rain scheduled. So we'll see about that one. But watch those. MLB will have some shorts up. And yeah, let us know who you think will do the best in the rain for the rookies. As always, this has been GTD. Thank you for watching.